Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video we're going to be looking at, what is an indexical? So some terms, like names, refer to the same object no matter the context. However, other terms are more context-dependent for their reference. Terms where their entire meaning is dependent on the context in which they're uttered or the actions of the individual uttering them are broadly called indexicals. In this video, we're going to look at what indexicals are exactly and some distinctions that can be made within indexicals between indexicals and demonstratives. Great. Paradigmatic examples of indexicals include I, here, and now, since the reference will depend on the context of who utters them, where they are uttered, or when they are uttered. Other examples include terms like you, he, and she, this and that, or yesterday, and in an hour. They refer to different people, different places, or different times, depending on the context of who uttered them and perhaps what that person was doing. Were they gesturing at a particular person when they said he or she, or a particular object when they said this or that? That might change the meaning of that word in a particular sentence. So the sentence by itself doesn't necessarily have a truth value independent of the context in which it was uttered. So indexicals are philosophically interesting for exactly that reason. We can't assign truth values to them independent of context, in the same way that we can to other statements. I am standing is true when some people utter it, but false when others do. So the statement, I am standing, can't be true or false in the same way that a statement like 2 + 2 = 4 or it is raining could be. And indexicals can't be fully reduced out of statements if some have tried to. Imagine that it's currently 4 p.m. The statement, the meeting is now, is importantly different from the meeting is at 4 p.m., since you might believe the second statement but not believe the first, leading to you being late to the meeting. Just because you believe the meeting is at 4 p.m., it doesn't follow that you believe that the meeting is happening right now, even if the meeting is at 4 p.m. This is an issue of intentional versus extensional states and substituting in intentional contexts. We're not going to go into that too much right now, but because this is an intentional context, it's one of the reasons that these terms are philosophically interesting and make it difficult for us to represent them logically. Some philosophers make a distinction between pure indexicals and demonstratives. Demonstratives are indexicals which require some additional information to determine their truth value, such as pointing or gesturing. This or that might be considered demonstratives, since one is generally pointing at or referencing something. Similarly, he or she might be considered demonstratives. However, words like I, or here, or now, on the other hand, might be considered pure indexicals, since they wouldn't require a demonstration to understand their reference, merely a context, who is speaking, where they are, when they are. In the future video, we'll look into more of the issues with indexicals and what makes them so difficult to deal with when translating phrases of natural language into a logical framework and attempting to determine if those are valid arguments or not. But for now, this is just a basic definition. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what an indexical is. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.